As children, we believe we will live forever. Lindsey Meglio was no different. She never thought about dying. Then, the 10-year-old soccer player and straight-A student was diagnosed with stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma.
I think first you're in shock, okay, and then you go into denial.
We had never had cancer. First of all, you wouldn't expect anything like that to touch your kids, and so we never expected it. Didn't understand it, and it just started all the wheels in our heads turning, trying to figure out, what do we do?
By the time she was diagnosed, Lindsey was already near death.
When Lindsey was first diagnosed, she was found to have some disease in her abdomen, she was found to have disease in her middle of her chest, and she was found to have disease in her lungs as well. So she was classified as a stage 4B, which is about as serious as you can get for Hodgkin's disease.
But despite the seriousness of her situation, Lindsey never thought she was going to die.
I think she thought she just wants to take a pill and make it go away. But when we told her that, that she had cancer, she actually said, "What is cancer?" I mean, she was just a little girl.
We tried to explain to her what cancer was, and she still did not truly understand what she had, right, what battle she had ahead of her.
Yeah.
That was something that...
None of us did.
None of us did, exactly.
She didn't like being sick. She had such an active life that she knew that it was all interfering with her school life and activities. She was a very busy young lady, and chemotherapy interfered with that, but she wanted to live, and she was strong, and the spirit that she had was amazing.
Lindsey wasn't going to give up, and neither did her team at the Bob Costas Cancer Center at SSM Cardinal Glennon Children's Medical Center.
When treating children with cancer, you have to talk to them in a language that they understand. It's not beyond me to get down on the floor and play with the children and try and gain their trust initially. Never, ever, ever do you lie to the children or tell them an untruth. If something's going to hurt, you need to tell them it's going to hurt, so they believe you when you say it's not going to hurt.
They bond with the kids. They know their names, they know what they like, they pay attention to the important things that make them feel safe and feel good.
As a child life specialist on the 4th floor, I'm there if they get scared, if they get upset, or if they don't understand their treatment. I can explain all that stuff to them. The other part of my job is probably my favorite. I have all the toys, I have all the fun stuff, I get to spoil them. We do crafts together, we have art, we have music. I play video games with them even though I really don't know how to play. Anything that's going to keep them happy throughout the day.
Despite her grueling chemotherapy treatments, Lindsey tried to never miss soccer practice and worked hard to keep her grades high.
She would go and have a chemo treatment, and she would insist on going to soccer practice that night after she had a chemo treatment. And as a mother, I'd be like, "Oh, Lindsey, you can't do that." And she's like, "Mom, I want to do it. I want to be a normal kid." And I'm like, "Okay, let's go get your uniform, get in the car."
Sometimes she didn't want to come to clinic for her chemotherapy because she knew that the medicines would make her sick. There was one day where I figured out that Lindsey didn't want to come into the building, so I administered her chemotherapy while she sat on a picnic table outside.
Her chemotherapy finished, Lindsey and her family finally received some good news.
She did it. She did it.
We're thrilled, and our daughter's going to go on her way to living a happy life.
I think the most important thing to my sister was that she just wanted to be a normal kid, be able to go and hang out with her friends and just be normal.
But that happiness was short-lived. 12 weeks after she finished chemo, Lindsey started feeling pains that were frighteningly familiar.
Shortly after we'd stopped her chemotherapy, she had a recurrence of her disease, and her disease recurred in the middle of her chest. And since hers recurred in a very short period of time after we stopped her chemotherapy, that was particularly bad.
When she was diagnosed the second time, it was so much harder because you knew that if she relapsed that quickly off of treatment, that this must be really serious. And when Dr. Gale sat down with us and told us how serious it was scary.
With the cancer now in her bone marrow and no one in her family a match for a stem cell transplant, Lindsey's condition was grave. But Dr. Gale, like Lindsey, is a fighter, and he was determined to fight for her life.
In order to treat her relapse, we decided we need to be more aggressive with the therapy. And one of the things that we can do to be more aggressive is give her higher doses of chemotherapy. Now the downside is we can destroy her bone marrow. And the bone marrow is kind of the factory that makes all our blood cells. And if we destroy those, they have no way to fight infection. So we reinfuse stem cells.
She had what is called an autologous stem cell transplant, which means that she was her own donor of her own stem cells. Now the chance you're taking is there could be one cell that has the cancer attached to it. So you could literally be putting the cancer right back into your child's body.
We're talking about chances, probably 30 to 50% chance of survival, but there really wasn't anything else to offer at that point.
While Lindsey went through treatment, her family waited and hoped for a miracle. And the staff of the Bob Costas Cancer Center hoped right along with them.
I think that they all made us feel that she was in good hands. Right after she had her stem cell transplant, she didn't wake up for 3 days.
It was the most scariest thing we've ever seen in our life.
A lot of our families, of course, are hoping for miracles, and I do everything within my power to keep those miracles alive for them.
David at Child Life makes these calendars for all the kids, and what it does is that when they get to put that little cross through the end of the day, they are closer to being able to go home.
They never gave up hoping for that miracle.
Initial signs that the transplant was working was that the masses in her chest would go away. Her fevers went away, her appetite returned.
What was encouraging was to see her every day get a little bit stronger, and you could see that she was starting to feel better.
Her hair was growing back. She was looking like our daughter again.
We were getting our old Lindsey back.
And now, 16 years later, that miracle is a vibrant young woman with a great career, an upcoming wedding, and a promising future, and a reason to be thankful to the Costas Cancer Center every day.
The science here at the Bob Costas Cancer Center is truly amazing, but it's the people that set it apart. They care. They're a family. They're my family. And the Bob Costas Cancer Center is why I'm here today.
The Bob Costas Cancer team, they created a miracle for us with our daughter.
What she had gone through was hard, but necessary, and she had a lot of hope that she could go on with her very bright future.
It's the people like Dr. Gale and Marsha that show kids how to be strong, to never give up. And for me, that's exactly what they did. They made me stronger.